Welcome to Competition Curious, the blog, vlog, and podcast for business owners and marketers who are curious about running competitions. I am your host, Suki Van Kay. I am the world's first and only expert, strategist, and complete nerd when it comes to competitions. In today's episode, episode 7, I want to share with you the 3 things that you need to decide before you're ready to run a competition. So if you're considering running a competition and want to make sure you're ready, this one's for you. Okay, so I wanted to dive into these reasons today because I recently had a conversation with a fellow business owner, and we were chatting through some of her stats and some of her, email open rates and site visitors and things like that. And it struck me that she didn't actually realize that she was ready to run a competition. And I thought that it might actually be useful to share this with you guys because you may be in a similar position where you think there's actually more that you need to have in place and ready before you run a competition, when actually it really just hinges on 3 things. There are 3 things that you need, 3 things that you need to decide before you're ready to run a competition. The first thing that you need to decide is what's actually in it for you. Why are you running a competition in the first place? What are you hoping to get from running your competition? So as much as we may say that we want to run a competition just to be fun or just to thank our audience or just to do something a little bit different, competitions should fit into your overall business and marketing plan. The aim of a competition is to help you get to where you want to go with your business and ideally to grow your business and generate sales and revenue. When it comes to deciding what you want from your competition, we call this a competition goal. And generally, your competition goal will fall into one of 4 main categories. And knowing these categories can help you kind of pinpoint and narrow down what it is you actually want to achieve from your competition. So these 4 areas are creating awareness, engaging your existing audience, getting feedback from your existing audience, and converting those people into purchases. So to give you an example of awareness, this may be reaching a new segment. For example, if you have previously always targeted younger, 20 to 30 demographic, and you've released a new product which is more suited for 30 to 40s or 50s to 60s, then you may want to create awareness for your product, for your brand, for your services in that new segment. When it comes to engagement, once you've created awareness in that segment, once those people know about your business and what you sell and what you offer, the next step is to get them to engage with your brand. So this could be, for example, bringing them to your website, getting them to follow you on social media, getting them on your email list, for example. Next, it comes to getting feedback. So this is usually in the form of surveys or completing questions or reviews or comments, or it could also be submitting photos or videos or testimonials of them actually using your product or service. And finally, we have conversion. So this is where you actually want to convert those people from being aware of your brand, engaging with your brand, maybe giving you feedback or interacting with your brand, to actually converting into a paid customer. So why is deciding what you want to get out of a competition one of the first things, one of the 3 things that you should decide before you run a competition? Well, not only does it keep you focused on what you want to achieve, deciding what you want in advance is actually going to make the whole competition process so much easier. So say, for example, that your priority is building up your email list because currently you get a really good conversion rate to purchase from the subscribers that you've already got. So by adding more subscribers to that list, in theory, you will also get more purchases, more conversion, and more revenue. So it keeps you really, really focused on creating a competition that is just going to achieve that goal. It's also going to determine who you're going to market to, who you're going to attract, because you're really only going to attract people who are willing to subscribe. And most importantly, it is also going to determine your entry method. So if, for example, you want to gain email addresses and you want to build up your subscriber database, you are not under any circumstances going to run a like to win competition or a comment to win competition or a purchase to win competition, because that is not going to help you achieve your goal of building up that email database. So making that decision of what you want to get out of it, the email subscribers, is actually going to make all the subsequent decisions for your competition so much easier. Besides that, I mean, you wouldn't embark on a road trip if you didn't know where you were going. You would also buy a map, you'd fill the car up with fuel. If it's a long trip, you'd get snacks, you'd plan toilet breaks. You know, you're not going to just jump in the car and see where it takes you. If you're planning a trip to a specific destination with a specific outcome in mind, then you're going to need a plan of how you get there. And that's exactly what it's like with a competition goal. So the first thing that you need to decide before you run a competition is what you want to achieve out of that competition. The second thing that you need to decide when it comes to running a competition is what's in it for them. So what's in it for your audience? And by this, I obviously mean the prize. Why should they enter? Is it worth it? What are they going to win if they do enter your competition? Now, I've talked at length before about why I feel that you should be giving away your own product or service as a prize when it comes to competitions. And you can hear all about that in the previous episode, 10 reasons you should run a competition and 20 reasons you shouldn't. But essentially what it comes down to is this. If you're giving away your product or service, every single person who enters the competition is saying, I want that prize. I want your products. I want your services. So everyone who enters that competition is a potential lead for your business. You can then nurture, you can then educate, you can then show products to, you can then advertise your services to, and you can hopefully convert into paying customers. You will also reduce the risk of unsubscribes. So imagine if you enter a competition to win an iPad, my absolute least favorite prize of all time, and you actually have a skincare brand. So all of these people have entered your email to win competition. They're on your emailing list. They find out that the competition's closed and they weren't the winner. And then next week they get this email from you all about skincare. They're going to go, I don't care about skincare. I just wanted to win a free iPad. So the unsubscribes are going to be so much higher. And this is only going to harm your sending reputation with your email provider. So we definitely want to avoid giving away other people's prizes, especially if they're so unrelated to your audience or to your niche. A lot of people think that they need to put time and effort and money into coming up with an incredibly amazing prize. And the amount of people that I have heard sometimes who say, oh, but you know, I'm insert whatever you do. I'm an accountant. I am a coach. You know, no one's going to want to win what I have, what I sell. And I always say to people, if people pay for your product or your service, of course they are going to want to win it. And as I've already said, everyone who enters a competition is a potential lead for your business. So you want them as well. So when it comes to competitions, the second really important decision that you need to make is what you're going to give away as a prize and whether you're going to give away your own product or service, which I always highly recommend. So this second decision that you need to make, what's in it for them or what you're going to give away, should hopefully be a lot easier than the first decision, which is what you actually want from your competition. And a good prize can really make or break a competition. After all, it's the first thing that they're seeing. It's the main thing that they're deciding whether or not to enter your competition on. So if you keep it to your own product or service, not only will you build a list of people who want to hear from you, but you're going to build a list of people that you want to hear from as well. The third and final decision you need to make when it comes to deciding if you're ready to run a competition is how much you are going to invest. Now, when I say invest, I'm not just talking about money. I am talking about time. I am talking about effort, and I am talking about potentially money if you do decide to invest money in your competition. So running a competition is not just a case of chucking it up on social media and then getting on with your day. You will need to invest time in planning, creating, managing, promoting, and closing your competition. So it's important before you run a competition to decide how much time you have that you're willing to invest in your competition. And that brings us to budget. So if you don't have a huge amount of time, but you do have a marketing budget, obviously you can outsource your competition creation, promotion, and management to someone else. For example, I do have a competition concierge service or a done for you competition service. Similarly, you can outsource your ads, you can outsource your graphic creation, you can outsource your website building if you're hosting your competition on your website. Generally, when it comes to competitions, you will need to make an investment of some kind, whether this is your time in doing everything yourself or whether it's money in getting other people to do it for you. And that brings us to the end of the list. It's really not a huge amount that you need to have ready, to have decided in order to actually run a competition. So to recap, that is, you need to decide what's in it for you. What are you trying to achieve by running a competition? What's in it for them? What's your actual prize? And finally, how much are you willing to invest? That could be your time and your effort, or it could be money in outsourcing your competition to an expert or to outside third parties who can help with creating your competition. And what's really funny is that with this client that I mentioned at the start, when we were having this chat about whether she was ready to run a competition, she was actually really surprised to find out that there really was so little that needed to be in place in order to run a competition. And I hope that that's the takeaway that you've got from today as well. As long as you've got something you want to achieve, you've got something to give away, and you're willing to invest time or money or a little bit of effort into it, you've basically got all of the ingredients for a successful competition. You're completely ready to run a competition. So I hope that if you're listening to this, that you will actually take a chance and run a competition. Okay, so you've listened to this episode and you've realized you are ready to run a competition. Super exciting. So you know what's in it for you. You know what you're going to get by running a competition. You know what you're going to give away during your competition, and you're willing to invest time and or money and or effort to making your competition wildly successful. What's next? What do we do next? I'm so glad you asked, because the competition master course goes live for round 2 tomorrow, the 28th of March, 2023. What is the competition master course, I hear you ask? It is a 6-module, 8-week-long course. It is part mastermind and part self-paced course, hence it's called a master course, and it is delivered through a range of self-paced videos in an online portal, plus weekly live Q&A Zoom calls with me and a group of like-minded business owners who are all creating a competition at the same time. It's designed especially for you, the business owner who is wanting to DIY your own competitions, but you need support in order to create a successful competition that is going to achieve what you want to achieve, that is going to help you grow your business and to generate leads and sales. The best part is it also gives you the freedom to do everything your own way. I will be with you every single step of the way as we create, launch, promote, close, and manage your winner, and also give you the support that you need to turn those entrants into paying customers once the competition is over. So if you're not sure where to start when it comes to the next step for your competition, or you just want to make sure that you get the absolute best from your competition and you want some expert support and accountability through the process, then make sure you check out the competition master course. It's going live tomorrow. Doors will be open tomorrow, and the link will be down below in the show notes. That's it for today's episode of Competition Curious. I have been Suki Bankay, your host and competition nerd. If you have enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you share it with your business owner and marketer friends. Don't forget to hit follow or subscribe. And also, I would really appreciate it if you could rate and or review if you have enjoyed this episode. Next week, I will be back with another episode of Competition Curious. So I will see you then.